Welcome to Art Loves Fashion. I'm your host, Sharonda Irving. I'm an image consultant, professional developer, art curator and collector, a wife and a mom. This show, Art Loves Fashion, is about, you guessed it, art, love, and fashion. We'll be meeting new people, trying interesting things, and hopefully learning something new. Sounds kind of vague, right? That's because I want you to join me on Sundays at 5 o'clock as we take a journey of all things creative and beautiful with art, loves, fashion. Hello, happy Sunday, and welcome to another edition of Art Loves Fashion. I am your host, Sharonda Irving, and welcome again to a conversation about all things beautiful and creative. So I have to say, I'm so excited. If you would have asked me before, was I a winter girl? The answer is no. I love the summer. I love the beach. I have got to have water and ocean in my life. But my God, it's snowing. We have not seen snow all year, and I am super excited. And I hope it starts back up. And as you guys know, I am also an educator. And honey, they talking about partial reopening tomorrow. I was praying super hard for a snow day because we're not ready. We're not ready. Sorry, not sorry. This is bothering me. Hey, this is what happens when you have a little live stream situation and your production assistant leaves the room. So yes, it is snowing, and they are saying it's going to snow again some more. So I'm excited. I only wish I was on a plane, get ready to go skiing. However, in the meantime, fashion segment for today has been inspired by the snow. So, I don't know how many of you guys grew up with people telling you you can't be cute when it's cold. And I'm here to say that is BS. And that shame on them for making us think that all these years. People letting us go outside, just looking just sacrificing all kinds of style for the sake of staying warm when you can do both. And so I want to talk about a couple of quick tips to help you to be able to be cute and be warm. And hence why I, at the last minute, threw my little faux fur around my shoulders because, we can always throw a little stole on anything and make it look winter. Okay, so first tip is just because you don't only have to stick to the black puffy coats for the winter time. We love a black puffy coat. We feel like if it got some down something in it, that is automatically the warmest that we're going to get. But that's not necessarily so. If you love a puffy coat, it doesn't have to be black. We can substitute a puffy coat for we can do a puffy coat in a fun color, a fun pattern. A la our girl Lupita Nyong'o had like a Versace puffer coat, zip up button. I want to say it probably was an après ski item, because that's the thing. If you go skiing somewhere, you will find all kinds of fabulous cold weather gear in the ski gift shops and the ski stores around. You will find that's where Montclair first came from. So people are buying Montclair coats, and not necessarily just now, but Montclair is a favorite of winter coats. They started as a ski company, and they have created beautiful silhouettes of winter coats that is not just your average black puffy coat. But you don't have to do Montclair, but I'm saying that to say, just take your inspiration from what they're doing on the ski slopes or the après skis. So we can take a puffy coat and do it in a fun color. If we don't want to do that, we can do, we also have the option of doing a wool maxi coat. Maxi coats are so fabulous. You can still wear them in the streets, even if you are going, even if you take public transportation. Wool is actually one of the most versatile fabrics that you can use. It can be water repellent, like now if you're in a pouring down rain. But if you've ever worn wool in the snow, it you can brush water off of it. You can brush the snow off of wool, and you can get them in all kinds of sophisticated colors. If you like gray, if you like a more traditional look like a camel color, or you can go with a fun color wool maxi coat. The one that I just showed on the screen was a nice yellow color. I just saw today like a beautiful mint green wool maxi coat. So you don't have to do a puffer to stay warm. The beauty of wearing a maxi coat also is that you can layer underneath of them. You can leave it open and you can do a turtleneck, a sweater, and then your coat, or you can do a button up and a vest with your wool coat over top of it. So you aren't limited, because a lot of times your wool maxis will be a little bit more roomy. If you get something that's oversized or a little unstructured, that gives you the opportunity to layer. That way, when you're outside and it's cold, you're layered up. And when you come inside, you can take some of those things off and adjust based off of the temperature in the room that you're in. So you don't have to. So you've got the option of the maxi coat. You've got the option of the colorful puffy coats. Then you also have, like, you can do a coat with a fun pattern. You can do a plaid. You can do all kinds of embellishments and patterns on your coat. The other thing that's also coming back in style, and depending on where you live, it probably never went out of style, but the other thing is a shearling. I remember the 80s, shearling coats were the thing. People had, they have them in all different kinds of colors. They've got them with hoods, without hoods, with big pockets. They've got them structured or big and loose and unstructured. And so you can even use that as an option. And we all know shearling coats are so super warm. And if you are a person who is a bit conscientious about wearing fur, they have fantastic faux options for furs nowadays, or for, shearling. Or, hey, go thrifting, because, thrifting is the way to be sustainable with fashion. It's a good way to be eco-friendly, and also to find things that are have a little bit more character. So we can do something different besides your black puffer coat. So that's the first thing we can do, is switch it up a little bit with your outerwear. And again, if you're not in the market for a brand new coat, I promise you, consignment shops and thrift stores right now are your best friend. People are purging. People have been sitting in the house, like going through their closets and trying to clean. And, we're trying to upgrade our lifestyles and get organized. And where's all that stuff going? To the thrift and to the consignment shop. Please believe me. So the other thing that you can do to keep it cute and while you're cold is get yourself some fun embellished gloves. We need the gloves, but we don't have to just do like basic mittens. We don't have to do, plain knitted things. Gloves have been a really big thing the past couple of seasons. So we've got all kinds of fabulous colors. In leather, we've got leather embellished gloves. You can even, if you like a knitted glove, you can even do like a knitted glove with some type of fantastic little embellishment. I got these from a vendor. I was going to get my hair done, or taking my daughter to get her hair done, and the lady had these. And it was just it's a little fur on the end here and a little bow. And I said, and the gloves are wool, as a matter of fact, with the little touch thing. That's the thing now, too. I think that they've added that technology that you can now still use your smartphone and keep your gloves on, because you're still trying to be cute while it's cold. You can use your phone. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So embellished gloves. They've got fingerless gloves. They've got gloves that come all the way up the arm. And one thing I like about the gloves that come all the way up the arm is a lot of times when you look at coats, you'll see really cute vests. I used to always I didn't understand the concept of a vest, right? Because I'm like, I cannot be warm and my arms are out. But the thing is, what I noticed, and I noticed this from running, like when your torso warms up, the rest of your body warms up with it. So you put on your vest, you layer up, and then you can do a long glove, and boom, you got a statement moment, out in the cold. And of course, then you layer. That is the key. And then finally, find yourself some cute hats. I love a beanie. I don't know why the past year and a half, I have been obsessed with beanies. But if beanies aren't your thing, the berets are back and they're doing all kind of embellishment. Any possible color that you would want to imagine. Pop your beanie on with your shearling, honey, and your embellishment on your gloves, and you can still be cute in the cold, or you could be like me in the house on a snowy day. Throw a faux fur over your flannel, right, and still feel like, you can put on your long john. They don't even do long johns anymore, but your long john shirt, honey, and put on a flannel and pop a fur stole on top, and you got a look. So next time you guys go out, you don't have to sacrifice warmth for cute. And that is my fashion segment for today. And so we are going to transition into our next segment.
She is gone. I should have got me some alcohol.
All right, we're going to go ahead and segue into our next segment. And you know what? I'm going to introduce my my next guest. She is a friend to the show. If you've watched the show before, she is not a stranger to you. She is the reigning Queen of Cups. Melissa, who is our in-house astrologer, therapist, educator, all around, help you upgrade your life, girl. But you know what, Melissa? I'm going to throw a surprise at you before we get into what is going on in the skies. You ready for the challenge? I think you are.
Yes, I am. I love a challenge.
So I did this with one of my other guests, and just as a bit of fun, I have some this or that questions that I want to ask you, and just answer just off the top of your head of this or that. Let me look for my questions.
Yes, I am.
I'm going to ask her as well. All right, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Pants or dresses?
Pants.
Pants. Okay. Why?
Funny, but true. My mother did not wear pants until she was 18 years old. Because my grandmother used to make all of her clothes until she got it regularly. And I don't think I'm the best at sitting ladylike. So pants don't ever fail me.
Okay, all right. Heels or flats?
The preschool teacher in me says flat, but I do love a good heel, and they all over this house. So we'll say flat.
By day it's flats. Then you go into your phone booth and turn it around, and then it's heels.
Exactly, and hopefully 2020 did not turn me into a heel virgin all over again, since we've hardly gone out.
Okay, a heel virgin. The thing is, you got to put on a pair. I tell everyone, I have been saying this throughout the entire pandemic. You have to go put on a pair of jeans at least once a week, and you have to put on some heels because you're going to forget how to wear them. And the leggings, if you keep wearing them, you're going to be tripped. You won't be able to fit them. You won't be able to fit.
It's true. You're gonna
It's not about
want to
body
be in pajamas all the time.
shaming. It's about the fact that you're going to be angry because you're not going to be able to fit your clothes.
You're right.
I just think.
You're
All
right.
right. So the next one is: are you a neutrals girl or are you a patterns girl?
Patterns. I
Okay.
do my whole
Okay.
house, and I generally love. Yeah, I love damask. I love filigree. I love patterns. So
Okay.
yeah.
And then the final question is: what is your favorite thing right now that's in your closet?
Oh my goodness, what is my favorite thing? If funny enough, I would say I just got a motorcycle jacket with shearling on it, like
Ooh.
a black, and I had been wanting one for a really long time. And like you said, that the shearling is always just the bomb. So that's my new favorite little purchase.
Nice, very nice. Well, thank you for the surprise, this or that rapid
Oh,
fire.
I love it. I love it because I love that they were all beauty and fashion things because those are also parts of my favorite too. So good to be able to answer stuff about
Yes,
that.
yes, indeed. So, Melissa, tell us. So, you guys, Melissa is our in-house astrologer. Again, tell us a really quickly introduction, who you are, what you do, so that people will know that what you're saying, you know what you're talking
Yeah. I'm Melissa from Eighth House Wisdom, also known as the Reigning Queen of Cups. I'm an astrologer, an integrative psychotherapist, and an intuitive tarot and card reader. I've studied astrology for a very long time. And what I love to do is to help women, particularly women of color, learn about the wisdom that we've lost along the way about the stars so that we can tap into and align with our personal success cycles and be prepared for the energetics that are coming up. So, we have an easier time because we all want ease.
about. Absolutely. Right about now, ease seems like a foregone conclusion. So yes, so if you share with us the what is going on in the stars, like when we first started talking about this whole subject of astrology, my thing was like, what is Mercury retrograde and why does it seem like we're constantly talking about
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
That was where we started, and I swear to God, every time we talk about it, that is like a thing. So, what does that mean? Where are we now?
We
Aren't we back
yeah,
in a whole nother retrograde situation?
we are in fact. So we started the month of January in retrograde, but not Mercury retrograde, but the planet of surprises and rebellions. Uranus went into retrograde on the 1st of January. Um, it was going through when we experienced the insurrection on the Capitol.
You
It's
said
part of what I
Uranus is the planet of rebellion and surprise, and
yes,
we
in
were doing
revolution.
that at the time of the insurrection. We were in that phase.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, on the day of the insurrection, the planet of war changed signs. And if you guys remember that QAnon guy with the little walking around the Capitol with the horns on,
Was
he's
that
like
who
the
it
perfect
was?
picture.
I don't know who he was.
Yes, they said he had been known at a number of different QAnon rallies and things of that nature, and I think he was one of the leaders of a particular movement. But nonetheless, that picture of him with like the Viking like horned
Yeah,
hat on, and it,
yeah.
it was, as an astrologer, if I couldn't have picked a better picture for the definition of that movement because Mars was moving into Taurus, and Taurus glyph looks like a circle with two horns sticking out. So, like, he was symbolic of that move, of that movement of really kind of reaching a feverish pitch. Our country's going through difficult periods of time. The planet of war does not like to be in an earth sign, which Taurus is. And so we kicked up a lot of dust during that period of time. And that kind of set the stage for some really tense couple of weeks in between of getting through the inauguration, the impeachment, all of that kind of stuff. And we stumbled into another really potent event just before the full moon in Leo, which also corresponded to the market going crazy, where all the Reddit people influenced the short bet on GameStop and almost, well, they bankrupted a large number of billionaires and almost toppled the market system. And funny enough, I say all of that to say that that was all happening in the shadow of Mercury retrograde, Mercury getting ready to retrograde, which just happened on Saturday.
All of this chaotic energy, and then went into a retrograde. Lord.
Exactly. So you got a lot of chaos, which you can, for some of us, at a very large level, at a high level, you know, affecting everyone on a big level. And then we just went into retrograde motion, which means that it's an optical illusion that makes planets appear as if they are moving backwards in the sky. So it almost creates an S-like motion. And the reason Mercury goes retrograde so often is because it's the closest planet to Earth, and we are very close to the sun, and it moves very quickly. And so it doesn't take the whole year to go all the way around the signs, the zodiac, which we call them. It doesn't take all year to go around all 12 signs. So
if we are living, and I keep asking this.
Yeah.
If we are worried about Mercury retrograde, how is it that we like get out? Because every time we turn around, it's doing it again. So what do we need to be? I have asked this question, and you have answered it, and it is not you, it is me. I'm like, how do we get out of it? You did say it means review, renew, revisit.
Yeah.
Re-examine.
Focus on, so here's the thing. So the planet is the what? The house or area of your chart, and that you need to know your actual personal astrology, but the house that it's happening in is the where, and the sign is the who or what is going to occur. So Mercury is the planet that rules transportation, technology, communication, your thinking, your mental state, and your intellect. So generally speaking, that's what it gets impacted. The retrograde does favor things with a re-prefix. I say look at these like quarterly reviews. I know we just started January, but 2020 felt like maybe 3 or 4 years. So you can consider it a quarterly review. And it's an early opportunity after so much potent energy to say, hey, like, where am I at? I don't want to take immediate action off of adrenaline. I want to like calm myself down. I want to center myself. I really want to think about what are the moves that I want to make. And I want to add some additional research to it, because I know that the energy right now, when the planet is moving backwards, is kind of an optical illusion. So if I make a choice during this time of optical illusion, when the world goes back right again, I'm not going to like what this choice looks like. It's probably going to be all wrong for me for the next 3 months. So that's really the big breakdown, you know. And so there are some things I definitely recommend not doing, so that you don't feel like your life's on hold. But that you can utilize this energy for positive, you know, because some people are like, what I'm supposed to do? Just sit in the house and like not do nothing? Girl, it sounds crazy. It sounds scary.
As you're speaking, I'm like, hey, I've got some decisions I need to make within the next couple of, like, very, very soon. And what do I do?
Exactly. Well, so one thing I do want to tell everybody here is that if you go to you can go to my Instagram at Reigning Queen of Cups, and you will find in my link 8 secrets to thrive during Mercury retrogrades, which is a workbook which will allow you to really take a deep dive into figuring out how you want to work through some of these things and ask some of these questions of yourself. And since we are guaranteed to have 2 more retrogrades this year, it's good to have this on deck so that you can prepare yourself. You can know when they're coming and you know what to do. But that's a good question. If you have a decision to make, I think the main things to ask yourself are, is this decision time limited? Hardwired time limited? Because, the art of the deal and negotiation you can potentially ask for a little bit of a buffer if it's not hardwired. But if it is, then I think it's important to plan with a little bit more contingency on either side, recognizing that the things that you may feel gung-ho about in this moment, you may not feel that way a little later. So if you're making decisions in that way, it's great. Again, I don't suggest buying technology, cars, or signing contracts.
What about
during this time?
What about artwork?
Artwork would be a lovely thing if there is an artist who you have loved and admired from afar, and you saw his work or his or her work, and you were like, I always wanted to get that piece, and then you decide to do that. It's almost like a return to something. So that ends up being in the re-prefix, and so that's favored. Okay. But if you all of a sudden just decided, got a brand new idea during this period of time, like, yes, I'm going to be blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's not roll with that.
So in other words, just because you got a bright idea right now, don't jump in. Let it simmer.
Yes. Simmer. Exactly. Simmer. Exactly. And you know what? There are those of us who are like, I don't care about what you're saying about pause. I want to do it. Free will. Free will is a big deal. So then my suggestion is, okay, if you're going to forge ahead, then you do need to accept that there may be some frustrations, some potential revisions, and some redos afterward. Free will means you can do whatever you want to do, but then the fussing about, oh my God, there's a misspelling on my flyers and I got to get them redone again, or I measured wrong and I got this furniture delivered and it don't fit my house and I got to send it back. Well,
okay, so so here's the thing. The funny thing is that I have started on this journey of like being more intentional about my calendar and like really trying to I think for a lot of years I enjoyed or I leaned in too much of the spontaneity of life. And
you a Gemini, you're gonna do that. That's okay.
And so now, I have been trying to be more mindful of calendaring and that kind of thing. So what you're saying and what I'm hearing is like there's a way. If we go to like your website and we look at like the ebook, is an ebook to how to sort of plan ahead. One could look at the year and say, so here are the like markers that I will be mindful, like I might go back and do a revision of like my business plan or check back in on my goals and see how have I been progressing in my goals. Do I need to change course? Do I need to do some things that are different? But also if you're like me, like where because I was a little more spontaneous, I kind of expected to, which is silly now when you say it out loud, but like you expect that you might have to redo something, or like when you needed to change something, it was just like, okay, well, let's change it. So I guess that makes sense. Like, okay, it's all right if you make that decision right now, but just know you're going to be doing something over.
Absolutely. And I mean, and that's the thing. Well, you also come with Gemini energy. And so you're a mutable sign. So you're known to flex a little bit more easier than some of our fixed sign people. Like I'm a fixed sign, but I have heavy mutable changeable influence. But some people, like a Taurus, who they say are like generally like planted in the mud and like they like their habits and stuff. So for them to take an action right now where they need it to be the way they wanted it to be and when they planned it, it causes a lot of consternation after the fact to like have to redo things all over again. And so, yes, on my website, I have put out a free resource for everybody called the Stellar Year Blueprint for 2021. And I've done a lot of the heavy lifting because this is the way that I use astrology in my life and how I say it can create ease and support you with understanding alignment. If you can have an overall arching view of the major astrological events, and you don't even have to have your chart to do this and to know your personal astrology. If you could look through and see from a professional astrologer what are the big events to look at and a general interpretation of what that means, then you can take that into your own life, whether you're avid about, calendaring things or whether or not just at the top of the year, taking this information helps you to set up the flow that you want to do, so then you can understand.
So,
Yeah,
question for you. You mentioned like some people who are a little more like have a more fixed personality. What are the other signs that might fall under that? Because I think that people know themselves, obviously, but they
yeah.
may not be aware of like why is this being this so why am I feeling this level of resistance? So a Taurus may be feeling some difficulty. What
Yeah,
other signs?
yeah. So generally speaking, I would say that the fixed signs have difficulty, and so those, and they also consider those to be like the Atlas signs that hold up the Earth. So that's Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius.
Okay.
They are the four posters that kind of are like, and they are the signs that are the middle anchor sign of every season.
Okay.
So you start off with leading energy, which are the cardinal signs. Those are the people who like to be the boss and the CEO and tell everybody what to do. And then they need a fixed person like me to manage all of it. And that would be your Aries, um, your Libra, your Capricorn, and your Cancer. So they are all leading signs in their own element, and they like to initiate ideas and be the head of whatever happens, the head of the home, the head of the career.
So
Yeah,
those are the people.
exactly.
So those are the people who you come to the meeting and they throw out all the directions, and then they
Yep,
leave.
right.
And
And
then,
let yeah,
and
and
then
let you and me
the
work
Leo
it out.
and the Tauruses and all them start telling everybody else, okay, this is what we gonna do.
Exactly. And then they turn to you, the mutable people, who are the Gemini, the Sagittarius, the Pisces, and the Virgos. They turn to you all once the plan is in motion because we tend to be fixed, but you all are the good people. You all are good with people because you're smack in between two seasons. You're
Yes.
right at the tail
My
end of when the
God.
season is changing. So
You
you've
are
got the
speaking my
energy of,
language.
and you can, and you work the crowd, and you guys
Yes.
know you put it in your hands so you can go do the dissemination and get the people on board. Otherwise, ain't nobody gonna come to this bright idea that the leaders had and all the organization the fix people put in. If y'all don't put your thoughts on it, ain't nobody showing up.
Hold on. I just need to put a pin in that because when I tell you that you just described exactly what is happening at my current gig, my day gig,
Yes.
exactly what is happening. I'm going to actually ask a couple of people who are supposed to be the in charge people what their signs are because me,
Yeah.
the the people who are the like secret sauce, as you say, they're not
Right.
us, and we're standing there like, hi, how
Right.
you doing?
How you gonna do
Oh,
this?
never mind. All right,
Right.
you got
You
and
got this.
what?
Right. Exactly.
And guess
You got
what?
this.
If you look at the news today, you are a former educator, so you may have seen that, you know, you may be following what's going on in the news, and you've seen we are reopening tomorrow, and there's been a couple of people who, have been like, oh, no, y'all not ready.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It's a lot. And I think, and I'm so glad you asked that question, because I feel like that understanding that energy. And the thing about it is, each one of us has every sign represented in us. You may not have it in a strong way, but each one of us has every sign represented in us. And we have a core personality that's made up of what I call, your big three. That's and your big three really help you to understand the elements that you really work well with, and give you an understanding of your personality in a dynamic way, because people will come to me and be like, I'm a Virgo, but I don't feel like I meet every tenet of the Virgo. And I'm like, probably because I need to know your big three to give you a general mix of who you are. But that little three-way, the leaders, the managers, and like the marketers or the advertisers, that's a really good way of being able to understand interpersonal dynamics and collective dynamics when you got to step outside and work in a group, especially now,
yeah.
because astrology and life imitate themselves. We're in heavy Aquarian energy, and Aquarius is a fixed sign. Yeah.
Because I want you to tell me where, because this stuff is deep. Like, we can go so many different.
Yes, we can.
ways. And I want us to definitely talk about, like, so what do we need to know for right now? Because February is tomorrow. But before that,
Yeah.
I want you again. So there's a lot of, you mentioned about how, like, when people say, like, well, I am this sign, and like, how come I feel this way? Another feature of what you offer to your clients and patients, because you also are a therapist. You said that.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's important because I think it's a great thing, because you have this professional training as a licensed therapist, but also this professional training as um, an astrologer. And so you, like, I know I'm sure you weave them together, but people can
Yes,
come
ma'am.
and get a more thorough breakdown
Absolutely.
of their particular
Absolutely. You can get you.
all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I really enjoy doing. You can do a one session piece with me where we'll do a reading and we'll just really focus on what your core astrological personality is, and even like getting you to understand the language, because I give you a report, but the difference, and reports are wonderful, but the difference in having someone interpret it and really kind of give you some of those pieces in a reading are something that I love. And within this new year, I have developed two jumpstart programs for people. One focused on leading you through your year, so that we can do that over 3 sessions, and I can really help you map that out so that when you're done, you've got a year-long plan to work with. And then another one, I work mostly with women, but specifically targeted for women and for people who want quote unquote astrology light, which is working with the lunar cycles, because it's something that everybody can access. There's a new moon and a full moon every month, and they play into such a big role for us as women. And I mean, our menstrual cycle, our everything is kind of lined up to this. And manifesting is all these, people start talking about the law of attraction and manifesting and, getting into sync with stuff. If you're a woman, syncing yourself up with the moon is probably one of the best things that you can do, not only for your mindset, but for your overall health and well-being. And then other things start to fall into alignment. So
why come kids act crazy on a full moon?
no, it is true. It's research proven, because the energy of the full moon is extremely intense. And because a full moon generally means that we're experiencing energy of intensity and completion. Not only completion of a 15-day cycle from the moon absent in the sky to the moon showing up big and bright like a full circle, but actually it's part of a larger cycle of 6 months. So like I was telling, we just had a full moon on the 28th in Leo.
I saw it, and I was like,
yeah,
I think I'm supposed to be doing something.
I tell people to release during the full moon and to set an intention and plant a seed during the new moon. But the thing about the full moon was that 6 months ago, back on August 18th, around that time, 2020, was when we had the new moon in Leo. So any seed that you planted around that time
Let me write that
might be coming
down.
into, yeah, August 18th. So a lot of people have had to draw, but seeds and ideas that you sowed then may be finally coming into fruition, and pathways may be opening up around for you around that particular that new moon. And the new moon and the full moon in,
So
yes,
people who are calendar folks can go back and look and see what did they write down in August of last year, and
exactly, and
did
see what's
something
coming up for you.
popping off, or start to expect and prepare for something to pop off.
Yes. So that's again, and that's part of a process that I like to teach people so that they can begin to see cycles within cycles, and you can start to feel into it. And you can start using that as, look, the planets don't lie, people do. They move, like clockwork. They where they supposed to be at the right time all the time. So you can count on them. Okay.
That was funny. Okay, so tell us, plans don't lie.
Yeah.
So tell us, today is January the 31st. I know that it was a full moon the other day, but we're getting ready to go into February. I know Mercury is doing something right now because it seems like, I swear, we always
in it. Yes.
About for this month, just some give me some high level like takeaways, and what should we kind of be looking out for?
Well, we're going to continue to be experiencing the lovely Aquarian energy of inner rebellion, revolution, and kind of letting your freak flag fly. So that's what I think about when I think about Aquarius.
And by freak flag fly, you mean
yes,
embrace your quirkiness and like all your just like
exactly.
All the weirdos are just all the way out right now.
Absolutely. Your inner unique panache style, however you do, really kind of dropping into that space and allowing it the opportunity to come out and play. Adults need to play, it's not just for kids. And usually what happens when you move into a sign is that you get a pile up of a lot of planets in the same sign that really strengthens the vibration. So we're going to have a new moon on the 11th of February, and that will complete a big pile up of planets. I think almost 6 planets in the sign of Aquarius. So that's why I'm really saying, everybody, let your inner unique light shine through.
Because numbers don't put in my head, so if I don't write down,
no, but it's really important. And with the new moon that'll happen, then it will be a great time for you to set an intention about what's a part of your inner rebellion, or what's a gift also, because Aquarius rules the collective. Leo rules me, like me and the ego, and Aquarius is like the we part, the large. I think about everybody in the world. So also, while you're thinking about you being the inner rebel, you're a inner rebel, but you're a rebel for a cause, for the larger cause. And so we'll see a lot of collective things coming through within this month.
That's
and yes, it is. And right at around the same time, on the 18th, the sun will move into Pisces. So we'll get a shift of energy, and we'll get into dreamy, watery, psychic, spongy Pisces, as I like to call them, because you can feel a shift in the energy. You get more intense emotion. You'll have deeper dreams. Many of us will want to feel pulled to work behind the scenes. And then 2 days later, Mercury will go direct and save us from all of this backward motion. So on the 20th. So we'll finally have that reprieve, where it will start to move forward. We'll still be in a little bit of a shadow where things will be resolving themselves, but we'll be out of, we'll be out of the woods in terms of the initial intensity. And so this month is really actually going to be, there will be, well, let's just say, with so many planets piled up in Aquarius, including the planet of expansion, the planet of government and structures, and Uranus is still there, so the planet of revolution and rebellion. I still don't think we're done with some of the shifts that we're going to see, not only in our government, but in governments across the world, because,
there were like this. Yeah, we already know. I mean, we should know that foolishness is not over. So
it's not. It's not over, and
it could.
It's not.
It sounds like
it does, and I mean, we're also looking at massive protests in India. I mean, that people is about it. If Russian people are going out in like negative 38-degree weather to protest, what? We got a little bit of snow outside. That's like what? I can't even imagine being outside in that kind of cold.
Oh gosh.
It was so funny. One of my favorite astrology shows that I was saying, they were like, literally, and it's a podcast, if you were to take the clips of every one of the protests with no sound, you couldn't see anything. It all almost looks like the same thing. And while we continue to have Aquarius energy, we should expect for those kinds of developments to happen. But it's a good thing, because this is that counteracting energy from, I think, our last administration, which was very me focused, very xenophobic, very limiting to the rights of the more progressive collective. And Aquarius is progressive. It's the futurist. When it talks collective, it's not talking about old archaic ideas in the past. It's like Aquarius is the future. So we are moving into that future. So hopefully, even though we're still going through, we could feel hopeful,
So for our month, we should be thinking about letting the creative ideas like bubble up, but like also being careful not to be too impetuous, because we still got a little bit of retrograde going. Maybe let the ideas bubble up and like plan to implement them a little bit later on, so that way when you look at them later, if you like, who was I thinking? You will have yourself a buffer of time. And then so I'm also hearing you saying like that get ready for, like, because I'm thinking about, we're still in this January phase where people have done a lot of goal setting and a lot of intention setting. So like keep going with that energy and keep sort of planning it and setting the intentions, because towards the end of this month, things will start to materialize and you'll start to see avenues that make these things possible. That's what I'm getting.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to remind ourselves, even though I know we're developing microwave attention, the retrograde really is 21 days. That's 3 weeks.
Okay.
So most of us, in reality, I mean, it feels like forever, but really 3 weeks with a little bit of extra spring, buffer on either side. Most of us can hold off on a plan unless it really is time specific for 3 weeks. And hold off on action. Do the research. Search, have everything locked and ready to go. So as soon as the energy goes direct, you can put it in place. But I think it's designed to put the brakes on it so that we can be more thorough in the way that we're actually moving ahead. Because many of us run with an idea, but we're not always thinking about how thorough we want to be in our execution. So
that's good. So that's the month ahead. Keep planning. Keep doing your goals together. Doesn't mean, for me, doesn't mean like don't do anything, but don't do something impetuous that you don't have a buffer to be able to make changes. And we will be out from retrograde very soon.
Yes, we will. Sooner than you think.
And watch out for the rebels, because they still out there.
They still out there.
Whatever the rebels out there or the rebels in within you are really active right now.
They are.
You know what? Like that. When I go downstairs and when my husband is like saying something to me and I'm like, what?
Right. Yeah. When you get that little inner rebellion,
That's
it'll be
the
like,
inner rebellion popping up. I'm gonna have to be like, babe, it's not me. It's
it's the stars, honey.
oh,
I'm feeling the energy. Exactly. I'm feeling the energy.
well,
Oh,
again,
I
let's
love
tell
it.
people how they can get in contact with you. To get more information about your services. And you're not only, well, go ahead and tell the people all your things because she is a
Yes.
woman, she's the reigning queen of cups and a couple of items.
Yes.
This is the month where we've been saying black women get all your stuff going, all your multiple streams or all your ways to create and all your ways to go ahead and get out there
And
let
make it
your
work.
free flag fly.
Freak flag? Yes, you gotta let the freak flag fly.
So tell us about what Melissa, how we can get in contact with Melissa and the things that you have going on.
Yes, you can. Like I said, easiest way to do that is through my Instagram page, which is at Reigning Queen of Cups. In my links, you can have there are links to purchasing astrology reports. And on my site, you can go there to look at any of the sessions. I also have put out free workbooks for, like I said, the Mercury retrograde, the Uranus retrograde, and my stellar year blueprint for 2021. And all of those links you can find in my Instagram page. But you can also go to my website, which is eighthhousewisdom.com. And I have astrology. I also have an online botanica to get supports. You know, people want crystals and herbs and things of that nature that go along with. And I provide. Yes, and so
So we can be
yes,
our Florida waters and our
yes, and things of that nature as well. I am a therapist on BetterHelp.com where I do virtual sessions with people. My book is pretty full there, but you can always look and check me out at BetterHelp. And I am co-owner of Sacred Locks Hair Boutique for hair extensions. I'm currently rocking my Indian curly right now, and we are doing a Valentine's Day special for the ladies, whether you have a partner or not, because you should love on yourself and feel and look as beautiful as you can this year. So you can head over to sacredlockshair.com where you can get our affordable luxury virgin hair extensions. Yes, I am a Black woman with many businesses, and I love it. And I love being here with Mr. Rhonda, who is a woman after my own heart. So thank you for allowing me to grace your show.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for also just being a great friend to the show and always sharing some insightful information and lots of laughs and humor along the way. So again, I thank you guys for sharing your Sunday with me. Check out Melissa at Reigning Queen of Cups on Instagram as well as Facebook.
Yeah,
She's on all the platforms.
I am.
And you will be able to find the links to her various businesses and her various, not just businesses, but supports. If she's booked, download those ebooks and go ahead and get started and schedule her when she's available because she's a busy woman. And her latest ebook is, what's the name of your latest one?
The Lunar Wisdom Formula.
The Lunar Wisdom Formula. That's the latest ebook, but there's a couple of them there. So go ahead and check her out. And we will, as we transition into our next month, she's going to be back and sharing with us what we need to know. Hopefully, folks will be feeling free from the retrograde and she'll be able to give us some tools and tips on what we need to do for. And one of my favorite calendar girls who's watching from Instagram says she just grabbed her copy. So I'm sure she's going to be like, okay, how can I line this up for maximum benefit? So get to it well. And guys, have a happy Sunday. Let's pray for a little more snow, just a little bit more. I'm a northeastern girl, and I like a little bit of like, we need. I want to put on some boots and be able to throw a snowball and then run outside or look at it from outdoors. God bless those who don't have that luxury. I recognize that it is a privilege, and we always pray for people who are in need of shelter and warm places to sleep. Um, so we keep them in our prayers or in our service. And so with that, have a great rest of the week. I'll see you again next Sunday from 5:10 to 6 o'clock on Art Loves Fashion.
Welcome to Art Loves Fashion. I'm your host, Sharonda Irvin. I'm an image consultant, professional developer, art curator and collector, a wife and a mom. This show, Art Loves Fashion, is about, you guessed it, art, love, and fashion. We'll be meeting new people, trying interesting things, and hopefully learning something new. Sounds kind of vague, right? That's because I want you to join me on Sundays at 5 o'clock as we take a journey of all things creative and beautiful with art, loves, fashion.